Warning, what you're about to hear was intended to make you laugh. A lot. If you listen to the show and feel inspired, then that's awesome. But if you're easily offended or just can't take a joke, you should turn this off right now. Otherwise, turn this shit up and hang on. Welcome to the Get Up. All right. I'm your host, JP. This is The Get Up. Thanks for joining in for another episode. Remember to follow everywhere. We're on Twitter, The Get Up Show, and also on Instagram at The Get Up Show. You can check us out on Facebook at The Get Up Show Podcast, or you can always just go to www.thegetupshow.com. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube now too, and everywhere else. But thanks for listening to The Get Up, a podcast about pursuing your passions and having a laugh while you're doing it. Today joining me is a fellow social media YouTube poster, Justin Clark, also known as JC Dropshot.
How you doing, man?
How's it going?
It's going good.
Thanks for joining me here. How's so what do you got? Explain what you got going on for everyone and plug all your stuff.
Well,
if you can remember it all.
Yeah, I think I got it all switched around to one name now, so it should be better. But basically my focus is on YouTube, and particularly helping guys catch fish here on Lake St. Clair. And I'm just now starting to branch out and go all over the state too, thanks to a new job that affords me to travel a lot. So I'm taking advantage of that opportunity here shortly and starting to showcase other areas in the state that I've been to growing up, and then also where I'm going now.
Yeah, you had some awesome photos.
Yeah.
Some of the places that you already went.
Yeah, Leland is a very unique little town.
That was crazy. It looked like a little like classic port town sort of.
From
with
Maine or something like that. Yeah, it does not fit with like the rest of Michigan and the way it looks. So it's really chill. That town is small, but it's just a really cool, chill place to go. When I was up there, I wish I had like 20, 30 minutes of free time because there was brown trout in the harbor.
No, really?
Yeah, so when I went down to take those pictures really quick, I looked down in the water and I saw like 3 or 4 of them.
Those are beautiful fish.
Giant lake-run browns.
Really?
They were probably 10 or 15-pound fish, too.
Those are beautiful fish. The brown trout that I've caught have been awesome.
It's on my bucket list of Michigan fish I haven't done as
really?
lake brown yet. I haven't done that one yet.
All right. Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
That's awesome. So, the fishing videos, which is how I came across Justin, was I recently got a boat and got more into lake fishing. I started fly fishing, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. I got really big into fly fishing for a while. I always did a little bit of fishing when I was a kid, bobber fishing and stuff like that.
What were you fly fishing for?
Anything.
Anything.
But specifically, aiming for like rainbow trout, brown trout.
Yeah.
I would fish the Clinton River, one of them, and I've caught a ton of fish in the Clinton River, all kinds of different things. The first time I caught a sucker, or was it that kind of like barks at you a little bit, scared the shit out. They make noise. You ever catch one? It was like, rah.
Sure wasn't a catfish or a sheephead?
No, it wasn't a catfish. No, they're little, God, what was it? Or a chub. Maybe it was a chub.
Chubs, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes like a noise, scared the shit out of me.
Stone rollers will make that barking sound a little bit, yeah.
I was sitting there trying to get the hook out, and then it rah, and I dropped. I was like, what the fuck is it? Yeah, it was crazy. But so I got into that, and then also Paint Creek. That's the other one, because that's considered a blue ribbon trout stream.
Yeah, very man-made blue ribbon trout stream.
Yes, very man-made. But I've caught some steelhead smolt, a couple rainbows, a brown here and there, more chubs.
Yeah, were you mainly fishing up on the bike path, or are you down in like Rochester in the park there?
So I started off farther north of downtown Rochester.
So Lake Orion area, Oxford, up that way?
Yeah, just a little south. I would go up to like Silver Bell.
Okay.
Up there right off of Orion Road. There's the bike path and everything there.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in Rochester.
Okay.
So
yeah. So it's awesome. It's like just being out there by myself. Sometimes it's far enough away from the bike path that you don't even notice other people there or anything. Yeah. I've had deer come across the river. What is it? It looks like a ferret. It could be like a mink or like a weasel type animal. There, I've seen those things running around constantly, which is crazy. And they just come out looking at you.
Quick tip: ride a bike as fast as you can down that trail and try to see how many bats to hit you.
At night or
at night? Yeah. So when I used to live in Rochester, I used to do a ton of mountain biking. Me and my brother, and we were rode all the way up to Lake Orion, did Bald Mountain North and South Unit, and we're coming back into Rochester, and it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and the bats were just coming out
and hauling ass.
We're going like 18 miles an hour on the trail, just flying, and we had I think I had 2 bats hit me. My brother had like 3 or 4. And just smacked him right in his chest, and the one stuck right in.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's like, "Oh, he about crashed."
That scared the hell out of me. That's like you ever go riding your bike as a kid in the summer, and like those swarms of gnats and stuff would be out, you just getting peppered.
Tried doing that in a boat at 50 miles an hour. Yeah, that hurts.
That's what it sucks like for people riding motorcycles and stuff. Yeah. You can go flying and get the people that don't wear a helmet or a face shield or anything just get bumps in the face.
Horrible. Full of gnats, yay.
But so mostly my fishing was fly fishing a lot. I like the learning the technique of just casting was appealing to me. It was kind of cool because you'd be peaceful. There's not like a ton of, depending on where you go, not a ton of traffic on the rivers and the streams. And then where I had probably my best fly fishing experience was up on the Ausable, up by Higgins Lake. Nice. In Roscommon. So there's a stretch up there. Oh, God, what is it called?
Beautiful country up there.
It is. It's awesome. And I went up there, and I got in the river by where they launched some kayaks. Like, it's a popular kayak launch, but I got there way early. And it was cool. There was like a little bit of fog rolling over the water and everything, And I go out there and I start walking up the river a little bit, and I get to a spot where I'm like, okay, this looks like there might be fish holding. So I wait like 10 minutes or so, tie on a fly. I'm just letting the fish get used to me so they'll come back. And my first cast, I catch a fish, and after that, it was like someone flipped a switch. All these fish were just feeding at the surface.
Is there a hex hatch or something going on?
Yeah, there was a hatch going on. Nice. So it was like perfect timing when I was there, and I just happened to be throwing a fly that must have looked like everything hatching, and they were just everywhere, all around me, just bloop, bloop, bloop. You see them. It was crazy. So it was just like every cast catching a fish. I was only catching like little browns like this, maybe
8 inches.
Yeah, and it's funny because I would show my girlfriend pictures of the fish that I've caught, and she'd be like, "That's it." Like, they're like the size of my hand or maybe a little bit past my hand. She's like, all the work you go into doing all that, and that's what you catch? Like,
that's what everybody says about like trout anglers in general. They like this big to do about a 4-inch brook trout or cutthroat in this little creek.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But if you go and try to catch those little 4-inch fish in those little creeks, they're hard as heck to catch.
There's so many days I've gone out, caught nothing.
Yeah,
and I get tangled in bushes and shit, and I'm flipping out. I'm like, this is peaceful.
This is supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah. So then I started tying flies a little bit, and then I've actually caught some trout on Adams flies that I tied. So that was kind of cool. Some parachute Adams. That was pretty neat because it was something that I made, a lure that I made, and I caught a fish on it. It was cool. But then I've had family that's lived on Lake St. Clair. My grandpa lived on the lake just north of Selfridge for a little bit, and then my mom had a house on one of the canals just north of Selfridge in the same neighborhood actually. So I've been out on Lake St. Clair, but never like serious fishing or anything. So the fly fishing really opened up like, all right, I'm gonna start fishing more. And then I wanted to get a kayak. I was looking at getting like float tubes so I could fly fish on lakes, especially because I have family, and my girlfriend, wife, whatever, has family that has a house on Lake Orion too. So we have 2 houses on Lake Orion. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like a float tube or like one of those like little pontoon boats that you can get too. I was looking into one of those, and then I found like the stand-up kayaks, so the angler kayaks that you can actually stand up on. You can stand up on them if you're not 6'3" and 300 pounds. They'll hold you just fine. When you're that big, your center of gravity is a little higher. It makes it a little tricky.
Yeah, you gotta generally get like a 13 or 15 foot boat to be able to stand.
Yeah, so
especially when it's a little choppy.
But so I started fishing on that, and I've gotten a lot more into like bass fishing. The house on Lake Orion that my girlfriend's aunt has, off the dock, we've caught monster largemouth. Is that a camera beeping?
Yeah.
So good. Justin's got a camera actually recording us. This is a first for me.
I have no idea what it's shooting. I just kind of sat it there and see what happens.
And we'll see what it gets, right?
Yeah.
It's just getting the wall right now.
I don't even know if the mic's on, if it's recording right. I have no idea. We'll see what happens.
All right, excellent. But so man, we were catching like these monster largemouth, and I was like, man, I should probably start getting in the back, because I mean, I had one I thought my rod was going to break. I mean, it was bent in half so much. And then I had caught one. I got some really cool photos during the fireworks, the 4th of July fireworks. We were catching them. So, like, people are taking these pictures of us holding these fish, and there's fireworks in the background. It was really cool. And then I had a monster one break off the line. It took it around, like, their boat lift.
Oh, yeah.
And I could hear it rubbing on the metal, like, feel it, and then it snapped the line. I got pissed. But it was I was struggling to fight that one in. So I was like, oh, man, this bass fishing's kind of cool. And then my dad got a boat.
You've been out there this spring at all?
No, not yet.
Oh, the largemouth this year have been stupid.
Have they?
Oh, yeah. Better. It's been better for largemouth than smallmouth so far. But everybody goes to St. Clair for smallmouth. They don't go there for largemouth.
Oh, for sure,
So
yeah.
you're trying to convince people to fish for largemouth.
No, on Lake St. Clair I have been out. I haven't been to Lake Orion yet. So Lake St. Clair I've been out 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
And I was getting really pissed because everybody I was taking with me, I'll get into it more. So my dad got a boat. We went fishing. Our boat blew up on Lake St. Clair. That was fun. It overheated. The water pump broke. So it overheated, blew a hose, blew up. So we fixed all that. And that's like an 85, 87, whatever year that boat is. So we fixed all that up. And then my girlfriend's grandpa, he's like in his 80s now, and he needs help, and he only takes it out like twice a year. So he was like, do you want to buy my boat? And he's got it rigged for everything. So he's got it set up for trolling, downriggers, got a planing mast, like everything. He sunk all this money into it. He put all this stuff on it. And I was like, all right, sure. Wasn't really in the market for a boat, just bought this kayak, but sure. And she was all for it. So we got the boat. And now I went out. So I got that like in October, and I went out as much as I could before it got just too damn cold. Yeah. Caught some stuff. Me and my son caught a pike, trolling a little bit, and then this year so far we've gone out now watching your videos. That's how I came across you, was the Michigan Sportsman. So like I go on there for the fly fishing and stuff. Well, now I'm fishing on Lake St. Clair, and I'm like, I want to try to catch something. I always read about how it's such a great fishery, like right down the road. So then you posted some videos on the Michigan Outdoorsman or Sportsman.
Yeah, Michigan Sportsman forum, yeah.
Yeah, on the forum. So I was like, let me check these out. And
I've been on there forever.
It seems like it, and you're posting these videos, and I'm like, oh man, it's like, the best baits for this. I got blade baits, I got lipless crankbaits, like all these things that I never even knew existed now.
I got a kick out of some of those top 5 videos. I got a lot of heat on a couple of them. Like, you put tubes in there? Because everybody fishes tubes year round. It's not a spring only bait, guys.
Right. So that was how I came across you. And it's been really cool to watch. Especially some of the stuff that you were alluding to that's been going on with the job change.
Yeah.
Someone that's consistently putting out material, having so many followers on YouTube, that's really awesome. And that was why I wanted to have you come on, talk about that, like what got you into that, how you even came up with doing the YouTube thing, how long have you been doing it, all that good stuff. But that was what led me there. Now, as far as this year of fishing, so we went out the first time. My son wants to start fishing musky. So we got him a musky rod. He's got a couple lures. We went out, and we were down by the mile roads. And I'm trying to fish smallmouth, and there's all these other boats set up trying to fish smallmouth. And my son's throwing this gigantic fucking musky lure. These guys are looking at me like, dude, are you? And I'm like, Dylan, all right, you got to put that thing away, man. You're pissing everybody off. And then he didn't bring in another rod. And I had 2, and I had planned on setting one up just to like drag a tube while we were drifting, and then cast something else and actually fish it. And he's like, well, can I fish one? Because I didn't bring my other rod. And so I gave him the spinning rod, which was the one that I was going to set up for the drift, because he can't cast a bait caster. Shit, I just learned how to do that last year. And so I give him the spinning rod with a lipless crankbait on there. And he gets 2 white bass, a monster. It was like 18-inch smallmouth. Nice. And then he got a pike that took my lure. Like, it spun around in the net and shot off and just took the lure with it. So
gotta love that.
But he caught everything on what I planned on fishing, right?
Yeah. You should be happy, though.
I was happy, but we're very competitive. We have like a running, like, who has the top fish in each species thing going on.
Familiar.
So then I go out with my dad, and my dad doesn't have any of his stuff. So I give him a rod and tackle, and he's catching stuff on my stuff again, and I'm not catching anything.
Start charging. Yeah, right.
So then I finally went out by myself, and I didn't plan on it. So she doesn't want me to take the boat out by myself. Like, Exactly.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah, if you didn't see that, that was me rolling my eyes.
but yeah, obviously you go out by yourself
Yeah.
all the time. So I had someone that was that now I have 3 friends, well, 2 friends and a relative that live right across from Metro Park. Now.
Yeah.
Like my aunt rented a house. She just moved up from Florida. She just rented a house right on that main canal where the boat launches and everything, right across from Metro. And then 2 of my friends live right down one of the canals right before you get out to the lake. So my one buddy that lives over there, I was going to pick him up, and then he had to do an emergency doctor's appointment because he was actually off work for a medical thing, and he was feeling better. So he was like, yeah, I'll come out on the boat. I'm going stir crazy. I've been off work for like 2 weeks. And then he had to go emergency thing. So I was like, fuck it. I already got the boat hitched up. I'm already driving. Fuck it, I'm just going to do this by myself. Oh, well. I was like, I'll wear my life vest, and maybe that'll make it better. So I did.
If you've never launched a boat by yourself, too, it can be a little entertaining.
I have done that because usually when I would pick him up, I'm launching by myself.
Yeah.
It is a frustrating process. And then trailering and getting the boat back out of the water is equally frustrating.
Especially when the trailer's not really designed to like drive it on, pull it off just by using the outboard.
And then like too, like I'm not driving a traditional like bass boat or anything either. You know, it's a little bit
bow rider, bay runner, bayliner thing going on, which is great for cruising.
It's nice. Well, and it's family oriented. And I already told my girl, I was like, look, when these kids move out, I'm trading it in for a fishing boat, like, you know, 2-seater, whatever, 3-seater, and that's all I need.
Yeah, me and the wife went back and forth for literally 3 years before I got my Ranger. She's like, oh, we need to do this, need to have that. I'm like, yeah, that's not very fishing friendly, sorry.
Well, do you have kids?
No, unless you count the Beagles as kids.
Okay. So that dynamic isn't there yet?
It's not there yet, but it's definitely in the back of our minds, you know. So the vehicles we buy, you know, but she doesn't like going in rough waters on a boat that's like 2 feet off the water surface. So
and that's what's nice about those is they're so low profile to the water. What her grandpa did do to this one too is because it is a bow rider, he took the 2 seats out and had a custom platform built with a fishing seat. So and then it's got the trolling motor and all that stuff up there.
I've seen that a bunch of times.
So I can still sit up front and do all that too.
So at least you can go walleye jigging because you got the bow mount up there. So
which I haven't really got into yet. I have some jigs and all that stuff, but I haven't really got into chasing walleye like the diehards that are out in the river.
St. Clair River, man, you got to go up.
God, dude, all I see is like limits. Limit. It's got a 5-man limit, and it's like, holy shit, dude! I'm struggling to get one fish, and you guys are out there getting like 20.
I get. It's kind of comical. I get a message. Why are you even going walleye fishing yet? Because it hasn't lined up when I had free time to go up. And go have time to go do that, and when I want to do my own thing too, you know, I love walleye fishing. I grew up on Erie doing it, but I also get bored with something that I don't eat fish, believe it or not, which is really weird. So I don't have the extra drive to go get a bunch of walleye, unless my dad's like, hey, I need fish. I'm like, all right,
okay.
So I got to do that.
Purely the sport then.
Yeah, funny story. So as a kid growing up, I ate fish like crazy, but I also got sick every time I ate fish. Every time I start the story, people are like, oh, so you're allergic to fish. No, I'm not allergic to fish, which is weird. But Dad always put lemon on walleye and perch fillets.
Right.
I did the same thing. You know, Dad does this. You do it the same way, right?
Well, and in restaurants, everything.
Exactly.
They always
have lemon there, right? I kept getting sick every single time. We couldn't figure out it's the lemon. The only thing I'm allergic to is lemons. I can have oranges, lime, you name it, but lemons, forget it.
So then why don't you just not eat fish?
I just totally lost the taste for it when I was a kid. And
just ruined it, huh?
Oh, when you get that sick? Like you're puffed up like a blowfish, throwing up everywhere.
And it wasn't the fish; it was the damn lemon.
It was the freaking lemon the whole time.
Wow.
We didn't figure it out till like literally a year or two after this all started. I had a lemonade, and it was just like emergency room visit.
Really?
Oh, your mom's like, yep, we know exactly what it is now.
There's no fish in that.
Yeah, we know exactly what that is now.
Wow.
And the bad part is I like lemonade.
I love lemonade.
It's like every once in a while I'll sneak a sip, and it's like, okay, my throat feels funky.
And there's nothing they can do for that. So like I know with the nut allergies, local radio show, David Chuck the Freak.
Yeah.
Dave had nut allergies like every nut, and now he's down to, I think they just got rid of his peanut allergy.
There's a really good joke right there I could have said.
Yeah, the nuts, he's allergic to nuts,
If you ever listen to those guys, you know exactly where that joke was going.
So he was able to actually reverse all those allergies. Huh. They actually did, like, it was funny because they made a big deal out of it where they did he tried all these nut things that he had wanted, like these peanut things. So like a Reese's cup, a Payday. Like made this big shit out of it. It was hilarious. I could not live
without Reese's cups.
It was hilarious, right? So it was pretty funny to see unfold. But maybe you can have your lemonade.
Yeah, it's only one thing. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'm missing out on a whole bunch of food because I don't
because of one thing. Yeah.
Unlike him, he's missing out on tons of candy bars and deep fried food. I mean, there's a lot of things you can't have.
Peanuts, right? Yeah,
peanut oil, peanut food. Yeah, that's
crazy. So I took the boat out by myself, and I got a 20-inch smallmouth. It felt like a beast when I got that one. That one I caught. It was funny. I had set up my trolling rod just to drag a tube. That was it while I was drifting, and then I was fishing. I think that red lipless crankbait. I went and bought another one, and I was fishing that, and I didn't catch anything on that. But I caught this smallmouth on that tube, and it was funny. I actually got done. I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit down for a minute and just relax. And I'm just sitting there in the rods, it's kind of bending with the waves and everything. And then all of a sudden, kind of like bend, and then they
stayed,
ticked off some line, and then it just kind of stayed. Yeah, and I was like, snag or fish? It was a fish. And then I moved. Where did I go? I went right up off the point of Metro, right off the point there at Metro Beach. Yeah. And then I ended up. I was jigging. My son was playing with it just a little bit ago. It's like a bright orange grub, like orange and yellow curly tail grub, and I was just jigging that and just working it on the bottom, and then bam, and that ended up being like a 22-inch walleye, 21-inch walleye.
I'm sure that came home with you.
It did actually. So that was one of the things that I was trying to do was the live well. Was trying to figure out what to do with the live well. So I bought a cooler. And I got a live well pump, but I haven't even used that yet. I just start filling it up with water. Like I literally just dumped it in there and scooped up some water, and the walleye's good all the way I got home. It was still live. So that was, you need. Yeah. So I haven't even had to use the pump that I bought to keep the water circulating because I haven't been on the water long enough, I guess, for that to be.
I didn't have a live well on a boat until teenage years. So it was always just cooler and ice.
Yeah.
Growing up in Erie, everything just went on ice right away.
Right. And I guess I could do that too. But I was reading they were talking about bleeding them and just throwing them in ice.
Just make sure it's a dedicated cooler for the fish.
It is a dedicated cooler for the fish.
It gets a little funky.
Yes,
quick.
It does. It's a dedicated cooler.
Bleach can't get that out sometimes.
Yeah. So, so it's been interesting. That's what I caught so far. The last time we went out as a family, I posted that the other day, but we went out as a family for the first time and didn't catch anything, but it was cool because my daughter was a little scared, especially on Lake St. Clair because the waves can whip up so fast. And now I bought that fish finder and I'm just itching to get back out there again. And I haven't been able to.
Yeah, St. Clair is not as scary as St. Clair to me. I mean, I grew up on Erie though. When you go from no waves to 1 foot chop, they're so close on St. Clair, but on Erie, you can literally have 30 feet between waves, and they're massive.
That's crazy.
And that's shallow water, and it happens that quick. And I've had some.
I've never been down on Erie. I've been on Lake Huron, so we have a cottage up in Lexington. So
you've seen the big waves that happen. Yeah. Erie gets them that big, but it's shallow, and they have a lot more speed behind them. But it's the only lake I've almost died on is Erie.
Really?
Hands down.
Holy crap.
It's got its name for a reason. It can scare you pretty quick.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Probably one of those dumb duck hunting moments that you shouldn't be doing this, and you do it anyways. And you're halfway through it, and you're going, yeah, this was really dumb.
Yeah.
One of those things. We made it in the middle, right? But
I mean, I've had some rough days out on Lake St. Clair when I was a kid. Like, there was one time we drove out to Strawberry Island, and we just anchored off. We were playing in the water and all that stuff as a family, and the ride back was really bad. Yeah. The storm whipped up, and it was just like, holy crap.
I haven't been in anything on St. Clair that scared me, but I know that it's beating the crap out of my equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way it's just it's
constant. It's
crazy. Think of the worst road in Michigan.
No doubt.
Times that by 10 and try to go 30 miles an hour on it. That's Lake St. Clair most of the time. Like this weekend, I want nothing to do with that lake at all. There's that 1 square mile from Metro to Harley, and you take that all the way out to Gull Island. That stretch is insane. You have a lot of current that goes through there.
Yep.
You get a south wind with all that boat traffic. There's
crazy.
A video on my channel from a day just like that, actually, where we broke my buddy's boat. We literally split the hull. And that's one of my top videos.
I would imagine.
And it wasn't even a
now
serious.
I'm gonna have to go back.
There wasn't even a serious video. I think it's like 40 or 50,000 views or something like that. And like just the comment section is just comedy. I just stay out of it and just like, oh, you don't know how to drive a boat. You're an idiot. That is all. Like, dude, I wasn't even driving a boat. That my buddy like you don't know the scenario. Like if you back off, like everybody's claiming, you're going to die because the waves are 4 times your height and are all going 4 different directions.
Right.
So it's like being in a wash tub. You know, it's like that Nickelodeon show with the big ball.
Yep.
When we were kids growing up, it was like that times 10. But you're in a boat and you got like big old 30-foot cruisers going by and that stuff. I mean,
that would be scariest.
Yeah, we made the bad decision of deciding to just go through it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't too bad when we came out of Goose Bay, but as we got going and it's like point no return.
Well, it is crazy. Like you get into some of those bays because I've been out there where it's just like choppy as all hell, and then you round a corner and then it's like, okay, not so bad.
It's like an inland lake.
Yeah, it's crazy. But no, we growing up, my stepdad, his family had a boat that sank 3 times on Sinclair.
It sank 3 times and he kept using it.
Yeah, they kept fixing it, and then years would go by and then it would sink again.
Generally, if a boat sinks, you shouldn't use it again. You shouldn't be using it again.
The Fishin Magician was the name of that boat. That's what I'm trying to come up with a name for mine. You see all these people have these funny names on them. I'm trying to come up with a name for mine, and my girlfriend's like, you should call it the Bay Liner. Like the slang for like bay. I was, And
That's probably been done before.
I seen a sticker the other day. What the hell? I get weird stuff coming on my computer. I seen a funny one the other day that someone had on their car. Actually, yesterday. The Masturbator.
I've seen that one.
And I was like, oh
times,
man, maybe I should put that on my boat. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, my dad's boat growing up, he called it Tequila Sunrise.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his thing. The eagles and all that stuff. It was like, oh yeah, tequila. So calling her, hey, it was. I don't know. My dad was a dork. Tequila Sunrise.
Aren't all our dads?
Yeah. He's got dad joke city, and it's awesome. I'm starting to use some of them now, too.
I'm there, too.
I'm not even a dad of a human yet.
I'm definitely there.
Oh, those are the best jokes in the world. I love them.
So, what got you into the videos? So, how did JC Dropshot? How did all this stuff come about?
It actually started out with me breaking my back. Is honestly the best way to kind of start the story.
That's not usually the beginning of a good story, I wouldn't think.
You would think so, but honestly, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me in life.
Wow.
And probably could have been paralyzed. I got very lucky. Broke my sternum in the crash, too. Got very, very lucky. It was a mountain biking accident. Yeah.
What the?
When I lived in Rochester, did a bunch of mountain biking, did free riding.
Where were you mountain biking at when this happened?
This happened at Stony Creek.
What?
Yeah. We were building a skills park, and I was on my free ride bike messing around, and decided to try something that I've done similar things to that I probably shouldn't have done that day. I was tired, just got off of work, and decided to just go for it, full send, no helmet on, and kind of glad I didn't have a helmet on, actually, believe it or not.
Really?
I've never had a concussion in life somehow. But yeah, so landed on my head, broke 3 vertebrae.
Wow.
And
upper neck, lower back.
T9, 10, and 11 shattered all 3 of them.
Ooh.
So I'm a half inch shorter.
Wow, okay.
So the sternum, believe it or not, is what scared me the most, like 6 months after the fact, when I kind of like got out of the drug-induced like la la land.
Right.
Of Vicodin and narco and just pain meds. I kind of like sat back and like, wow, that sternum actually could have been really bad.
That's crazy.
That actually the more scary injury out of that was the sternum. I cracked my sternum. I didn't break it all the way through, but it was pretty dang painful. But at the time, I absolutely hated fishing, and it's actually something I've always loved my entire life. But like having this weird love-hate thing, I was guiding, just trying to do so much with no real direction, to kind of burnt myself out because it wasn't making traction anywhere. And just kind of took a break. Got into mountain biking, had a good job, economy tanked, broke my back. Like 08 was just hell.
Really?
Hell for the entire country. You think about it, 08, 09, 10, just insane. But it was honestly probably the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Because it gave me a chance to kind of pause and kind of have a lot of me time. Because couldn't work.
Yeah,
couldn't work. Couldn't find work when I was able to work. So I ended up having to move back home. And to kind of keep myself doing stuff, I started deciding to fish again. Okay. And I was like, you know what? I need to share this. This is back when blogging was really, really big. So I started blogging, and I had a blog called Out in Michigan.
Okay.
Kind of a lame name because we got Michigan Outdoors.
Yeah, you got all kinds of out in
There's
Michigan
not
stuff.
much to say. You know, Outdoors Michigan was already taken. There wasn't many names to choose from.
That's one of the things that's hard with doing any kind of stuff like this is coming up with a name that like resonates what you're trying to do, and that isn't something that's so close to something else that's already taken.
Yeah,
it's tough.
That was brutal. But I went with it. I bought the URL, started blogging. I wrote a article on the red ear sunfish, the whole stocking program here in the state. And that blew up on Michigan Sportsman. And then Outdoor Hub wanted me to write for them. And Outdoor Hub now owns Michigan Sportsman for them. Yeah. So it kind of got tied into that. Well, I started doing a couple little videos on I still have the camera. It's a little Kodak digital camera. Barely has like 240p, you know, just terrible. But I think it's actually still on my channel. It's like one of the oldest videos. It was me rigging a spike.
Okay.
And then the other video was me flipping the Frabill straight line reel, the very first commercially available fly reel for ice fishing, and flipping the spool. Nobody had that online.
And that...
Yeah, so that was like the first 2 videos I did. Then my old employer that I just left this past fall came knocking and says, hey, I need someone to run my store. Well, I worked for Cabela's. I have all this retail background. I have a lot of fishing knowledge. So the videos kind of took a back burner for a little bit. And so did the blogging. Even though I wanted to still do it, it just... Too many hours in the store. I had to make the store work or I wouldn't have a paycheck. So...
and that's, I mean...
Yeah.
This is generating nothing right now at all. And it's
passions
just
generally don't at first. Exactly. It doesn't at first. You don't... Hardly any money even to this day. So I got the day job. You know, I put a lot of energy into that. I was there for 6-7 years. But was it 2 years into it, I started doing fishing reports in the blog sense, post them on the forums and Word. I'm like, well, I just videotape these. And that's where it kind of snowballed. I started doing videos because of that. Started filming our seminars we're holding in the store. And my juices to kind of make videos came back. Because in high school, we had a TV studio, one of the first ones in the state. So I did all the editing, did the camera work. I wasn't on-screen talent for whatever. Monroe High. Okay. So, according to the teacher, I wasn't good enough for on-screen talent. Oh. Yeah. But lo and behold, none of them are on TV, but yet I have a YouTube channel. Sometimes you get lucky. The way the world works, I definitely have a face for radio, I think.
Definitely. The voice is funny. Like, I do this, like... Obviously, to me, I hate my voice. Like,
I don't recognize myself. I hear nothing but audio. It's just not.
Yeah, but like, it's funny. I've got a couple of people that have come on that it's like, dude, you have the baritone, like, radio voice. Like, that is funny.
Yeah, you guys always say, you do podcasts, you do that. I'm like, you guys don't know how much work this stuff is.
Yeah, no, it can be.
I got to have a day job, too, to pay bills. But yeah, so I started doing just little videos here and there, and kind of the juices got flowing, and then it was about 2 years ago, I said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to take this serious and actually do something with it and try to learn my craft back again. Because keep in mind, back when I was doing this in high school, digital was just becoming available. Yeah. So I was running tape decks and cataloging analog style.
Oh, my God.
I was pretty fast at it. I'm actually just as fast as doing analog back then, as long as I watched what was being filmed. As I am doing digital. I'm just as fast as pulling the clips. Except now I got to worry about audio. Got to worry about making sure the lighting's right and all the other stuff instead of just dealing with the editing part. So I've just kind of decided to take this a little more serious and actually do it. Watched a lot of other YouTubers. The funny part about YouTube, you can learn how to YouTube on YouTube. It's like free access to this, so if you want to do it, you can do it.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. Like, that's like, as much as I hate the internet, that's one of the good things that has come out of, like, having that. Because, like, for example, me and a buddy bought a project motorcycle. Didn't know if it ran. A guy was selling it. He bought a lot of 3 bikes. He only wanted one of them, so he was trying to sell the other 2. He just wanted this one, but he had to buy all 3. It was like from an estate sale or something. Yeah. So we picked it up, and my buddy's like, "You think we can get this running?" I was like, "You, me, and the internet, we can get this thing." And we did. We got it running. And then he ended up buying a brand new motorcycle, and I sold that one. But we got it running. So like a lot of times, stuff goes wrong, or you need to know how to do something. Like there's always like a video that you can go out there. It's funny. My dad's like, "Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing a video series," because he does home remodeling and repair, about how to do simple things around the house. I was like, "Dad, there's like a million of those out there."
There is, but it's amazing that like you can repeat the same stuff that's out there 30 times, but for some reason you're the one.
This one is the one that connects.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's that it's part the algorithm kind of messing with things, but also just hitting the market at the right time, so to speak. It just I've never had a true viral video, at least in my perspective. But at the same time, you got to realize I'm in a micro niche.
Yes, you are. Your main focus being, for the most part, this one lake.
Yeah. So there's a few other people that are starting to do that, but I have no problem with it. I let them do it, because the funny part is they don't realize the more they do it, the more it helps me.
It just brings it up.
Yeah, because it's those keywords and tags and the content. If you already dominate it, then more people start doing it. As long as you continue to dominate it, you're always going to gain from it. And this past winter was stupid, because when I left my job, I didn't go into anything. I literally just was like, you know what, I need to go. And I just focused nothing on that. I mean, that's all I did was just YouTube all winter. And definitely got the craft where I want it for my ability, but my aspirations are way bigger than that.
Which is good to have.
Yeah, and I know that I can't take it there, personally. So I need to bring somebody else on board to do that. Well, to do that, it takes money, because someone's not going to come join you on your passion for free. As much as we want them to do that. It's not going to happen. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I got to grow the channel to the point that I can bring in somebody to basically do my master plan, which I'm going to leave that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Leave that in the head for now.
Yep.
The person that I want to partake in that already knows about it, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." I'm like, "Yeah, but you need to get paid because you have a family."
Yeah, right.
And he's already involved in the actual. He does TV shows for a living.
So this would be something more consistent than it is now. Something that like your primary focus.
There's like YouTube has this weird thing where you have your vlogs, you got your daily video guy and your vlogging guy, and you got your tutorials, you got your product reviews. But I want to do more of like a TV show. Okay. If you watch like John B and those guys when they go on their big long road trips, like the Guggen Squad guys.
No. This whole world. The serious fishing world.
Those guys are the top guys on YouTube. Is
very, very new to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched a couple. There's like this younger guy. He does it with a group of guys. They do a lot of musky fishing and stuff. So like, I've seen them.
Today's Angler.
That might be what it is, but they'll hit other lakes too besides St. Clair. Like they were doing one in Wisconsin and stuff like that. So
that's just your daily fishing video. But the Guggen Squad guys will do these epic trips. Like they've been doing this one up to the Northwest for sturgeon, and it's just this highly cinematic shot, just gorgeous video.
The production values are
it's like stuff that you would see on like a liberal feel good save the whales kind of thing. That's been. Honestly, like if you watch like mountain biking videos from the Northwest, it has just that cinematic, just gorgeousness to it. But it also has a lot of content to it, and it also has like that daily fishing fun, just hanging out.
So you're probably gonna have to upgrade more than just a GoPro too for your video.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, all that stuff costs money. It's funny that you talk about that. That was one of the things. Like film was, I went to a film school for a semester before I moved back home because I couldn't afford to live in Chicago. But that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to do film and make movies and stuff. I've got a couple scripts that I wrote. I was working on some projects. I'm working on a project with a couple people right now for a TV show. But like it's tough. When I moved back to Michigan, I really wanted to try to do something, and it was just I didn't know anybody, like wasn't sure how to make these contacts, and it just ended up not happening. Like wasn't able to do it. I've done plenty of other things with my time in my life, but that was one that I wanted to. But again, like you start getting into you could do it lo-fi, you can do it with the GoPros and stuff, and that's good. But if you have this vision of where you want it to be, it is sometimes unfortunately takes the higher end things to get you there.
Well, the funny part is, like, I think there's a whole year on my channel. It was all shot on the same phone I have in my pocket right now, and
dude,
nobody knows that. I mean,
the phones are getting ridiculous.
You can go on Amazon or BH Photo and just get a mic, and you got gorgeous audio on these iPhones, and the what's the other one everybody buys? The Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Both have phenomenal cameras in them. Both have good audio processors in them, and it's $100 in your phone. You're making video that's as good as a GoPro or a DSLR.
Yeah, no, these camera
if you
phones
have that eye,
ridiculous.
you can make it look like anything else. The funny part is, I got a Hero 6 sitting here, and it literally took me forever to finally decide to play with the settings and get rid of the fisheye thing.
Oh, okay.
And there's actually a setting in here. It looks like a DSLR.
Really?
Yeah, when you have the proper lighting conditions, you can't tell the difference side by side.
That's good.
The only thing bad about a GoPro is it's terrible in low light. Yep. So the video, if whatever comes out today, would look like trash.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the best lighting in my
GoPros
basement.
have to have that super bright Bluebird day, and it's like, oh my god, it's amazing video. The minute you get that kind of low graininess light, it just sucks.
Eventually, when I build the room, I'm also going to drywall the entire place, and we're gonna get rid of all these things, because like I got pull cords everywhere.
Yeah,
and like most of my plugs.
That's all.
Most of my plugs are in the ceiling, which drives me nuts. Like if you look at my craft table, plugs. Like the only plug that I have that's remotely on a wall is this one right here. Everything else is in lights, and it drives me nuts.
I would much rather have the plugs above me.
No, I don't want that.
I want everything above me on plugs.
Oh God, I hate it.
Just makes things more flexible.
I hate it so much.
You can just run it across and
because there's only certain ones, like that light, and this light. Everything else, there's no plugs anywhere else, so it drives me nuts. So that's one of the things. Once I start framing, eventually, is running all the wall outlets and redoing all the lights and all. that
You'd get a kick out of my office / studio / fish room. I have 2 outlets. And of course, they're not where it works for anything.
Right, exactly.
So I have power strips and drop cords.
Yep.
So when I'm doing my live streaming stuff, which hopefully YouTube lets me have that back here shortly, because
lets you have it back.
Yeah, for a long time you could get away with playing other YouTube videos while you're live streaming.
Right.
Well,
they changed that.
I must have played the wrong one. It was a Gordon Ramsay one of him like screaming, like he always does. And it was like the beer and hangout night, you know, we're just drinking beer, talking to people, watching stupid, funny videos, and nothing to do with fishing at all, even though there's fishing questions that happen during it. And supposedly I got copyright striked in the middle of the broadcast.
Really?
Never knew it happened. All of a sudden I had 2 more before I ended it. I'm like, what's going on? All my people that are watching just like disappeared. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm thinking I'm having issues.
Right.
Fire it back up, or it comes back on. Boom, goes down again. I'm like, what the heck's going on? The next morning, there's 3 emails. They came across at 1 o'clock in the morning, all this. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't live stream. Awesome.
Wow, really?
I was like, when did this happen?
Now, is that because someone reports you, or is that because YouTube
that was their
it?
automated thing. And the thing is that it used to be you could put it in like a small window and nothing would happen. You know, as long as you all hear so-and-so and you're good. And suddenly they changed something. Joe Rogan was talking about some of his podcasts where he can't even play stuff. The guests that he had on has produced the stuff, put it out there. He can't play their stuff anymore.
Really?
Because they'll take them down in the middle of the show. And it's something new that they changed, and it's absolutely annoying. It's like, so the news channels can play whatever they want, but now YouTube, you can't, you know, put a clip up in the background or in the corner that goes with it because somebody else owns it. And then there's a couple.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of defeated kind of the fun a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to create all your own B-roll too now. For, you know, when you're talking to a guest, you can't play a clip of them doing something, even though it's their video.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've played a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But I'm not playing video. I'm just playing the audio. I don't know if I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, audio. They haven't gone after audio yet. So I know Rogan's kind of gone around that. I know he'll put like a little the video up, but like have it like 10%.
Yeah.
So you can like just randomly you'll see like shapes all of a sudden across his face. You're like, what was that? And that's what he's doing.
Right.
But then they like pause it.
But that's ridiculous. Especially if you have the people that created the content or were involved with it. Like,
yeah. Well,
you can't even.
I think that's just a problem of YouTube being so big they can't have a person watching. You know, say, hey, you edit, you know, or like the censor button.
Well, it is, and especially with all the things that have been going on lately, like people, Facebook living shootings and shit, and all the stuff that's been going on in the social media.
If you're that dumb of a criminal,
yeah, well,
you deserve to get caught.
People do it, but I mean, those things being up for so long. I mean, YouTube's been under a lot of fire lately for the types of materials that have been up. I mean, there's some videos that start off like kid friendly, and then it turns in real south real quick. You know,
I mean, when you reach how many billions of people across the world, someone's gonna use it for bad. I mean, just the way it is. But I know, like, everybody was making good money on YouTube until Mr. Logan Paul decided to shoot
someone hanging himself?
Suicide Force.
In Japan, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been different if you would have said, hey, we're going to Suicide Forest and have a big warning up.
Instead of laughing.
And, well, I understand why he laughed, and I kind of get, like, he was uncomfortable, so it's some people's nature to kind of laugh when they're uncomfortable. But, dude, you didn't need to put that on
no.
It's not live.
Right. So
you
there is no like, oh shit, this is live. Cut.
Yeah, like
this is like, yeah, we can edit this out.
Like, I get you trying to put videos out every day, but you have how many people working for you?
Yeah.
Not one of them caught that. Maybe you should get some different people around you.
Yeah.
Because that's just bad. I mean, him and his brother, they're on this like slow spiral to nothing on YouTube after they could. It's amazing. You know, how vicious social media can be, though, too.
It is.
But in that regard, but I don't get their popularity either. Like, I got their whole Vine thing. That's how they came about.
Right, yeah.
Vine.
Well, Vine, there was a lot of creativity that was on Vine. I was never
TikTok's got it now. TikTok's kind of take that space up.
And isn't it funny how, like, these things do these, you only got this much time to do something, and then that's, like, what's like spurs the creativity, right? Mm-hmm. Like you get this restraint of what you can do. You've only got so many seconds of being able to do something, and then it's like, oh well, let me try to do all this crazy stuff. There was so many cool things that were on Vine. There's a lot of other stupid stuff, but there was a lot of cool stuff too. Yeah. And then it's like seeing now that it's on TikTok, and it's like, why doesn't that? I mean, there's TikTok some of those things that happen on YouTube, but I think YouTube tends to take it far. Like it ends up being longer than it needs to be. Yeah.
TikTok is Vine. I mean, it really is. It's got cooler filters, cooler music. You know, a little bit easier for everybody. It's just funny how many people from Michigan are huge on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you go on TikTok and do hashtag Michigan, there's stuff about our accent on there 24/7. Like there's so many Michigan people that are massive on TikTok. I'm like, wow, so Michigan's ruling TikTok. Sweet.
So how was it with the social media stuff? How has that been? How has that played into promoting yourself? So like, where did JC Dropshot? Obviously, I know what a Dropshot rig is.
Yeah.
And but like, where did that come from? And how we talked a little bit about it, but like coming up with a name and stuff. Like, what is it like besides just the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff?
Well, originally everything was out in Michigan because all blog related. I wasn't on Instagram. I had Facebook page that was dedicated to, promoting my blogs.
Okay.
So I used that because the whole share thing was crazy powerful on Facebook. It still is, but not like it used to be. Politicians kind of ruined that nice organic build your audience that Facebook had. Now it's kind of controlled by what Facebook thinks is right and wrong.
Or if you want to pay.
Yeah, even that doesn't really help you.
No? Have you tried that? The boost?
Don't ever click boost your post.
Yeah. I haven't done it yet. I'm cheap.
Dollar for dollar, it's worse than Google AdSense.
Really?
And what you get in return, in my opinion. And I just watched something from Gary Vaynerchuk where he was like, don't boost your posts. So if you're going to advertise on Facebook, do an actual ad, target it to your zip codes or your interests or your keywords that you want. You're going to get better bang for buck on that regard. And I play with that a little bit for the channel. Had some good success with it at certain times of the year when you time the video right, you time, but that was more the commercial side when I was working for the store I was working for. Kind of did videos around the seasons just to help the store, but also help the channel. So there's a place for that, but Instagram was one that I honestly think is probably one of the best ones for if you're hunting or fishing related, because we all love seeing our catches. We all love seeing someone getting that beautiful deer, So it it's easier for the, how can we say this without being offensive?
It's okay.
The backwoods redneck to look at a picture.
Right.
Instead of read.
Yeah.
So.
Well, come on. Let's be real. Yeah. A lot of people would rather just look at a picture than read, especially in this climate nowadays. Yes. Especially in this climate now. It's funny. Someone was just posting the if you think your kids are, like, it was a Chappelle joke or something. If you think your kids are watching too much TV, put it on mute and put the captions on. Now they're reading. Problem solved.
Yeah. No, they just go to the other room.
Yeah. But I think things have become way more visual than...
Well, we are, as a species, are very visual. What was it? The 100 monkey test. Have you ever heard about that?
No.
So down, it was in the Pacific Ocean. I don't know if it was our scientists or British, some scientific group decided to do a study where they took some monkeys and they taught one monkey a skill. Got them to master it. Then that monkey started teaching different monkeys inside the population. Well, when it hits this magic number, everything there learns it like that.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be taught anymore. Everybody just knows it.
Just knows it.
It's like this weird, like, cognitive thing that just all of a sudden everybody knows it in the population. So that happens, you know, I hate to say it, with like social media tools. Believe it or not, like, if you see more and more, all of a sudden everybody just kind of gets it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's the same kind of thing. It's interesting.
It has been interesting, and I find that, like, the social media stuff, so, like, I had a very, very minimal presence on Facebook. I had, a separate page for DJing, and I'm also a magician, so I was DJing magic and stuff, but I was really, really inactive. Like, I can't remember the last time I DJ'd something professionally besides just, like, a little stupid party or something. But I never had Instagram, never had Twitter, never had any of that stuff until I started doing this. And, like, that's the one thing. And I talked to someone else that had that same kind of gripe as the people that start, like, a business profile page or, like, an Instagram for a business or something. But then it's like, oh, look what my kids ate today, or here's what I'm eating, or, you know, whatever. It becomes more of the personal life than just the business thing that they're trying to push. Well, I mean, for some things, depends. So, like, what you've been doing was actually really insightful, because you already had this group. You've talked about, like, what you did, and then, okay, hey guys, now I'm going to be posting less material right now because of this situation, and here's an insight. So, like, it was really cool to see the man, I haven't been able to go fish, now I'm finally fishing, and then I got skunked a few days and it was getting really depressing, but then I finally caught a fish. You know, so, like, that was kind of cool because it was still related to what you've posted, right? Like, what you built your brand up to be, and that's kind of what I've tried to do. Like, I try to stay away from, at least with the Instagram and Twitter and stuff. I barely even do any Twitter stuff, but the Instagram, like, it's, if I'm posting something on there, it's about pursuing a passion. It's about one of the guests that's been on here. It's about promoting something else where someone's taking a chance and trying to do something. So I really try to keep that, at least that, or the page for the Get Up specifically to what that's for. And then I'll do my personal stuff on my personal page. It's
weird, like, as much as I've wanted to separate the YouTube thing from my personal Facebook page, it's kind of hard to, because people don't want to leave that and then go to that unless you totally shut it down, and you risk losing a good chunk of your audience.
Right.
And especially for my channel, when I look at the stats, 80% of my views are coming from non-subscribers. So that scares the shit out of me.
Right.
To turn that off, because a lot of people just know my name. If you look at how people find my channel, it's by my name, not by JC Dropshot, which is hilarious. But a lot of people didn't realize I even changed the channel name.
Gotcha.
I did it at a point where I'm like, okay.
You didn't announce it or anything?
No, I didn't announce it. I didn't do anything with it. I was at this point where, okay, back when I was going to take this serious, I'm like, you want me to change the name? Because if I ever want to take this outside of Michigan, out in Michigan, doesn't go with it.
Right.
So I just did a generic name, and I could have went with Raisin Rat, which is my name on Michigan Sportsman. And that's from Fishin' the Raisin River. You know, I just love that river still. It's awesome.
I've never been there.
It's a cool river.
Is it?
Yeah. It's dirty, but it's an agricultural river. So everybody thinks it's polluted. No, it's dirt. It's just mud. But so I had to change the name and just figure out a name that worked, and I just went with Dropshot.
Okay.
In my initials.
Right.
It wasn't like
the logo's good. I like the logo.
I actually paid someone to make that for me.
Did you?
I tried for 3 months to come up with a
make
logo.
your own?
And I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And, like, as artistic as I am, I can't draw.
No.
Like I have it in my head, but I can't put it on paper. You know what I mean?
I'm there a little bit. There's some things
it's so frustrating.
Like I'm decently artistic. Like I've done like the logo.
Yeah.
Where's my mouse?
Well,
I did that.
So like I could never do that.
I can do some stuff, and then there's other things that are up here that just can't make it to paper.
Like my brain can come up with the coolest stuff, but I physically cannot deliver
Once
the cool
pens
stuff
to paper,
at
it's not
all.
happening. Right.
So I need to have somebody around me that kind of gets me and gets where my head goes, and is okay with saying that's freaking wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and doesn't take it personal.
Your
and
logo's Your logo's pretty...
That was done by Brandon Trefenko out of Canada.
Okay.
He does... What the heck is this? He does some sweet stuff. I'm going to look it up now. Is it No, not Fins and Grins. Oh, what the heck is his name? I have to go find him on Facebook through his name and then find his... he does some absolutely incredible stuff. If I can spell Brandon without misspelling it here. Yep, dyslexic. There we go. Let's see. What was the name of his company? Fins and Frame. Fins and Frame. I was like, I know it's 2 F's. So Fins and Frames.
Fins and Frames?
Yeah. So he was doing these sweet, like cartoonish fish.
Okay.
Kind of edgy looking. Yeah, those guys. So that bottom right one, that Sunny, is that was on the back of one of my trucks.
Really? That's a sweet fish. Yeah, that's a sweet photo. I mean, it's like some aggressive looking shit.
Yeah, people have been stealing his honestly, that seeing that sunfish with that aggressive look, it looks like 2 of them fighting for bedding space. So it looks real. But now he's making logos for people.
That popper is cool too.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of logos from companies that are basically hiring to make logos. And I was like, dude, I have this idea and I can't figure this out. So this is what I want. And it was just, he won't type anything. He sends you voice messages through Facebook message. Kind of irritating, but I get it. He's Mr. Artist. I don't have time for words to be typed.
I don't have time to write.
Yeah, but check those carvings he's doing, man. Wow. They're freaking sweet.
These are carvings?
Yeah, those are carvings that he's doing.
Well, it's cool because it's in the...
It's his style. It's his feel.
Right.
It's,
I mean,
it's
it looks
not
like
for
his
everybody.
drawings.
It's not for everybody, but to pull that off in a 3D form, that is awesome. And he's just a pothead from Canada, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he bought this place on this little creek, and he's just hanging out.
God, this sounds awesome. Dude, it's like my dream life. Just like, look, she wants a bigger house. I don't know why, but she wants a bigger house.
I want more land.
I
don't care less about the house.
So before the boat, I was looking at property up in Roscommon by Higgins Lake.
Yeah.
My family always went camping there. I love that lake, and I love the Osaba River. So I want a property where I can go hunt. I can camp if I want to, but then I can go to the lake for the day, or I can go fish the river, whatever. So I was looking for property up there for the last few years. Found a couple that we wanted to, made an offer on one, but I was looking for 15 or more acres. Eventually, I think we were in the 40-acre range we were looking at. Because it wasn't badly priced, but then the boat happened, so now I'm not looking for property. Well,
me and the wife been talking about hey, we should move up north somewhere because my job, I don't need to live any place. I travel the state. I can just home base is home base, no matter where it's at. Her, it's a little different. I mean, she's got to be where she can make the money she wants to make, and that's tough to do in northern Michigan.
Well, and that's the situation that we're in. She can do her job remote anywhere as long as she can get internet. Me, I work downtown, so right now, if we were to move up north somewhere, she'd be fine. I have to find a new job.
Yeah.
And and then getting a mortgage and stuff like that changes what you qualify for. But man, we found some beautiful houses up north in the Houghton Lake, Higgins Lake area. Oh, man, I sent her this one the other day. It's on a lake. It's probably 45 minutes south of Houghton, but it's goddamn, this house is beautiful, and it's on 10 acres, and it's $250,000, and it's just this gigantic 2,500 square foot house right on a lake. It's fucking nuts what you can find up there.
I've been wanting to get a place somewhere up north, but I keep telling her that it has to have its own lake. Doesn't have to be massive.
Right.
But it has to look a certain way. She goes, how is it supposed to look? I said, well...
You can see it up here.
I need to have a hardwoods, birch, spruce surrounding the entire lake. Only one opening, and the rest is all wooded. She goes,
good luck.
Really? So I've taken her to like a couple little lakes. There's actually a lake in Oakland County that is absolutely gorgeous. Terrible fishing.
What lake?
Chamberlain. It's in the Bald Mountain Rec area, North Unit. Little tiny dirt road, sketch city to get into it.
Right.
But when I lived in Rochester, I needed to chill out. That was...
Really? Just your place?
It felt like I was in UP, like instantly. As soon as you turn down that road, it was just like instant, like, okay.
I love those.
And then you hear sirens,
areas.
You're like, okay, you just ruined it.
Yeah. I love that feel, like, where... Like, that's what I want. I want to be able to wake up and just be like, oh, I'm in the up north. I'm on the.
I want to feel like I'm 12 hours away from society. Yeah.
She's ready for that. She's like, she's like, give me 1-lane roads. I'm so sick of this, like, or 2-lane roads. She's like, I'm sick of this traffic living right here on 16 Mile. Like, it's like it sucks.
Yep.
And she works in Rochester, so like
Rochester's a nice place.
She works right at Rochester Norian Road, so like she goes and walks the trail and stuff all the time on her lunch.
Like living in Rochester was actually probably some of the best years of just like mellow, like clear your head kind of thing. I needed it at the time too, but you could literally go 10 minutes north and you're in the sticks. 10 minutes south, you're in Metro City.
In the metro area,
you know, you're right on the edge. And I keep telling her, I was like, we need to find a place that's may not be my dream house. You know, I may not get that until I'm 80 or dead. You know, it is what it is.
Where are you at now?
I'm in Mount Clemens.
You're in Mount Clemens? All right. I lived in Mount Clemens for a little bit.
I am not a city person.
No. I mean, I lived right downtown Mount Clemens. I lived...
I'm basically
I worked at Johnny G's right next to the...
Oh, jeez.
My stepdad owned the kitchen there.
Okay.
So I worked there, well, back when he owned it. This was back in like 2003, 2004-ish. But yeah, I worked down there. I lived right downtown, like across the street from the big-ass parking lot area that's like behind all the bars.
Yep.
I lived on the other side of southbound Gratiot. Right there, I used to walk or skateboard to work.
I'm in that corner too.
Okay.
Where we're at, it was seriously just because the market was so shitty. Mm-hmm. Got the house.
Oh yeah,
dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I had a good job at the time. She had a good job at the time. We were gonna get married, and we were like, oh, let's go get a house. Yeah, it took 2 years to find a house, and then literally, we put an offer on the house. They accepted it, and the signing kept getting delayed. So a month before our wedding, it got delayed big time. Well, we can close on this Monday. We're getting married Friday. Like the Friday before this. Yeah. We're like, really? I'm like, well, hindsight is I have my best man, my best friend in town. My brother's going to be in town. We have free cheap labor. We can move.
Wow.
Yeah,
Talk about taking advantage of that.
That didn't go over well with her, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like she didn't move around a lot as a kid. I did. So, like moving, I was like, I don't care. I've been, right. But she never had a house. You know, she lived in a trailer or apartment her entire life. And she never had a home of her own, like, the home. Yeah. And that was her thing. That was a big deal to her, and she never told me. Oh. So she was at work, and instead of me going fishing one day, I said, fuck it, let's just move everything. I just want to get it over with.
Right.
So I send her a text, hey, by the way, go to the house. We're not sleeping at the apartment tonight. She goes, why? I was like, I moved everything. She was so pissed at me. I still get it occasionally. Really? This is like the one thing she keeps bringing up occasionally. Like, oh, yeah. She goes, God. You ruined it. I'm like, what did I ruin? You didn't tell me. How do I know I ruined something? Yeah. But, yeah. We've been there now for 6 years, something like that. But we bought the house through the MISTA program here in Michigan for first-time home buyers. Absolutely awesome. So if any of you guys are listening, have never owned a home and want to, take a look at that. If they still have money in the fund, it's amazing.
Really?
They basically cover your down payment, all the expenses. Right. But it's like a 10-year loan that after 10 years it's forgiven. As long as you stay in the home. You
stay in the home, right.
Yeah, and that's a big thing because a lot of first-time home buyers aren't ready.
Look,
and people try to convince them, oh, you need to get this $120,000 home when really you should only be buying a $60,000 home. You know, and that's the thing that, like, even when we're doing that mission, you guys can afford $1,200 a month. I'm like, no, we're doing half of that. Yeah,
I think since I turned 18, I've not lived in one place longer than 3 years. No, 5 years. I had a mobile home up in Shelby Township. I had that for 5 years, and then we bought a house in Warren. That was like the first house. but that was her house. We bought that one in Warren at like 12 and Ryan, and then we weren't even on the market. We weren't looking for a new home or anything. This one was her aunt's best friend's house, and she had bought another house and her parents were living here, and then they were getting too old, so she put this house up for sale. So like literally the pool in the backyard, like my girlfriend has swam in that when she was a kid. So like now we live here.
How'd that go over?
No, she was like, oh, this house is really nice, we should go take a look at it. The only thing she doesn't like about the house is the brick is pink. So,
The brick is pink.
so that's the only thing she doesn't like about the house. But other than that, like the backyard, I mean, it's a mess right now because trying to clean the pool cover off and stuff so I can take it off. I mean, it's an awesome backyard. This side over here with the pool is like wide open, sun. We put a pergola, had a patio poured. The other side is all grass. It's just in trees and stuff. So I mean, like the layout's nice. I hang a hammock, like a real hammock, not one of those like spreader bar hammocks, but like a gathered in hammock.
I need to grab one of those, throw in the back of the truck.
Dude,
so I can
comfortable.
No, there's some campsites I've been to. I'm like, man, I wish I just had a hammock.
Yeah,
tonight.
It's awesome. So
Instead,
I set it up
it's
between
just
the
been 30
trees.
degrees at night. I can't do that.
Yeah, she was always like one of those people that like the spread ones with the bars and like the rope kind of ones, you know, and that you can flip out of real easy. They're always in the movies and stuff. She always liked those, and I was like, no, you got to try one of these ones. Like it cradles you, and it's way nicer.
Oh yeah.
And so I just bought one for the backyard and hung it up. And then one day she tried it, and now she loves the thing. She's like, hang my hammock up. Now it's her hammock. Now she's you know, it's like I bought the damn thing, and then for me, and then she's like, this is my hammock. Put it up. So, but yeah, it just kind of happened getting this house. Like we weren't in the market, but yeah, they don't count on people staying in their houses that long.
No, and when you're trying to prop a city back up, you kind of need to entice people to
move in.
You know, as fiercely, I'm not really conservative either, but just kind of like do it yourself. You don't need government help kind of personality that I am. There's certain programs that I think are awesome, and that's one of them. That you know its intentions are right and it's being managed the right way.
That's good. That's awesome.
And like the neighborhood, the block that I'm on is honestly, we moved in when none of the kids were there, and now kids are starting to show back up on the streets. So it's kind of fun. Nerf guns get left in my front yard, and I decide to steal it for a few days till I see them. They come out and start blazing with them, start shooting them. Like, here, this is one of your guys that's taking it with you, you know. But they just like, oh, they left it in my yard. I'm gonna go screw with them next time I see them. So
ambush them, Nerf guns, man. My kids got a bunch of Nerf guns. I love.
Yeah, if we have kids, my wife's in trouble.
I think I can hear my dog snoring on the microphone. I heard this deep.
Probably was.
She's out. It's just funny.
Oh yeah, that's her. That's her.
You hear this deep bass. It's my dog snoring. Hilarious.
But yeah, so my wife's in trouble if we have boys.
Oh yeah.
I
can imagine.
Oh, she like every time I'm around like nieces and nephews and stuff, and they're younger, she's like, "Do you need to act like an adult?" I'm like, "No, I don't need to act like anything." I'm out there getting in trouble with them, getting yelled at. I'm getting them yelled at because I'm enticing them to do stuff they're not supposed to do. And
well, great, yeah.
They're like, "Well, Justin said I could do it." Justin's not your dad.
So what's so how's the things with the new job been going, and like what's that like the traveling part? So before you were based pretty much locally around here, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're just traveling as a
sales rep
for
it's a fishing tackle wholesaler.
Okay.
That I work for. They're based out of Wisconsin. So home office is in Wisconsin.
Right.
In that regard, but my home base is here in Mount Clemens. But I literally live and work out of my truck. I kind of live out of my truck by choice. I love camping, and I hate hotel rooms with a passion.
Look, man, what you did that's right up my alley. Like,
yeah, I just don't have the right truck for the way I want it decked out, but I'm making it work. And I don't want to have to trailer something like have like a little camper trailer, or teardrop,
especially
or something.
for traveling, like the effect that takes on your gas mileage, all that stuff.
Yeah,
like while it could maybe save you money for lodging, could end up costing you money for, you know, everything else. I mean, that's more wear and tear on your brakes because your extra weight that you're stopping, all that stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, I set the bed of the truck up so I can sleep in it.
Right. Yeah, you made, like, the cool little shelves on the side and stuff to store your stuff, and your mattress goes right in the middle. And then, so what is the thing that you bought that's like a canopy that connects from the truck top to the... So,
I have a hard cap on the back from Aerie, and there's a company by the name of Topper Lift or Topper Easy Lift. They have this product that actually lifts the cap up and has a big tent and everything on it, but that was like $2,000, $3,000 to do the whole thing. Well,
right.
they just released this new product this year called the Nomad. And what it does is the upper part velcros into the cap's headliner.
Okay.
And then the bottom part clips onto the tailgate.
Right.
And then you just zip the two pieces
Which
together.
is nice because it gives you some extra room, right?
Yeah.
Because you're using the tailgate
it's
down.
It's a Nissan Frontier. It's a 58-inch bed. And I'm 5'10". Do the math. It doesn't quite work out unless you're on diagonal.
Right.
And then you don't have storage. You don't have room. It just doesn't work out.
Which is funny. You were saying, like, how my truck's bed is bigger. And
I could own your truck would be perfect.
I see my truck next to others that have, like, the longer bed. And I'm like, dude, my truck bed's so small.
You could do the same exact tent thing I got on the back of that truck in a heartbeat and still have bed space to put stuff in. Like, I'm just sitting there going, like, I drew up this huge plan, right, to have this thing, like, offset.
I remember, you were posting something about that.
I had this plan set where it would be a platform for the bed, and this will fold out, and then the tent and everything. Well, I finally built the platform. I should have recorded this, and I never did. It would have been entertaining, but I was not in film mode. I was in, let's get this done so I can get back on the road and work.
Right.
So I built this platform, laid on it, and I'm like, okay with that. Being that close to the cap didn't bother me. And then I put the canvas part on. I'm like, that's not going to work.
Well, what was it? Like, so if you're sleeping with your head towards the cab of your car, were your feet, like, hitting it or something?
Yeah, so...
Because it goes on an angle, it looks like, right?
Yeah, the big problem in back of a van or truck cap is moisture buildup.
Yep.
And no matter how much ventilation you have on a rainy night, you can't really open everything up and vent it too well. So the condensation collects on the tent, not the cab, because that's the coldest part.
Right.
Is that because I have a electric heater back there, and I thought I was going to do propane, but it's like, wait, this is too close quarters for open flame. This is going to be a bad idea. So I found a little electric heater, and as long as I got power, I'm good. So the heat builds up, but then that hot air hits the canvas, and condensation city happens. So if my feet's hitting it,
and there's no
man,
see, like, what's cool, like, one of the tents that I bought recently, the way the windows are designed, they're like this. And this is the window. So
I have a tent just like that.
So like that way, if it's raining, like, the water can't come up. Like, the water has to literally go up to come in the window. You figure they would have put something.
But the
like
problem
that.
is I want to keep the cab 60 and the air temp's 30.
Right, and you don't want to have that
moisture city really, really quick, because it's amazing. I didn't realize how much moisture comes out of you when you're sleeping.
Well, so you ever, if you love camping, you ever wake up in the morning and there's all the moisture collected in your tent? Like, you can hit the wall and it's like getting rained on. Mm-hmm. That's from you. Like, it's funny. I always thought it was like from like the dew and stuff on the outside, but no, that's from you in the inside. That's crazy.
Amazing, just from your breath and your body evaporating stuff through your skin. It's amazing how much moisture comes off you. I mean, we are 70% water. Go figure, right?
Right.
So I had this problem where I was like, okay, if I did that, I had this foam mattress that cost me, $100, which was comfortable as hell. But I'm like, this foam is not going to like water very well. It's going to soak it up because the type of foam it is. I'm like, I just can't do that. So I ripped everything out. It literally has a whole day's worth of work. Ripped it out, scrapped the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm going to Lowe's.
Did that kill you a little bit? Like, damn, I just spent all this time.
That should have worked. Like, it wasn't the money. It was a $10 piece of plywood and some 1x3. It's not a big deal. Just sucked the time.
It was the time that you put into it.
It was the time trying to get this positioned right, get the measurements right, and then have this hinge fold out the last half I need for the mattress to go on. And that was a tricky thing because you got that cap angles in.
Right.
So I had to cut that, and then I had to get to where the mattress wanted to work well with it. It was a nightmare. And I'm not a woodworker. Like my brain says, yeah, that'll work. Well, now I got to physically make that thing
you gotta
work.
Make it work.
Yeah, it's like, I know this. I know how to do it, but
it's
somehow
like the drawing,
I can't. Right? Yeah, I just can't make it work. It was definitely rough, but it was awesome. I actually got it to work.
Okay.
I'm sitting there with a saw and just trimming. Oh, now I got to take that support out, move that over. I got it to work finally. I was all excited. Oh, I got this to work. I lay up there. I'm like, crap. It's like all that, like 6 hours of trying to take my time so at least it looked right. And, it was strong. And yeah, I'm like, well, back to what I didn't want to do. So I just threw the mattress in the middle of it. Funny part is I already knew what the measurements were, that the mattress I needed to be between the wheel wells. I knew all those measurements.
Right.
I was like, well, the mattress is 38 inches wide, between the wheel wells is 44. How do I still don't remember these? I don't know, but I just do. I said, well, I'll just do 45 inches. Well, I do like 40-inch wide section. When I put the little foam reflector stuff in there to help get a little more warmth.
Yep.
that should hold the mattress in nice and tight. And I'll just put some walls up and make a little armrest, because when I slept the week before that, I slept with nothing in there, just a mattress. And I'm like, I can't stand like hitting the bed liner with your arm all the night. That's like sandpaper hell.
Well, we got a spray-on liner.
Yeah, it's a spray and bed liner in there. So for now, I'm probably gonna get a bed rug thrown in there just for a little more warmth and just a little bit nicer.
How did the reflective stuff work out?
It worked great. Where it was, it kept the cold away from me, kept the heat on me, so it was really good. That stuff is awesome, but don't expect it to keep you warm.
Right.
It just reflects stuff really well.
The heat, yeah.
Or the cold keeps it separated, so you have a little bit of, it almost acts like an air gap, like kind of like a 2-pane window kind of thing. So it works well for what I did, but I'm sitting there in Lowe's and I'm trying to think of how I'm going to do this on the fly now. And I'm like, let's go down this aisle. This is all those really nice pre-cut, almost sanded perfect boards. And I'm like, but they're 4 feet long. That might work. I'm just thinking, I'm like, but this and that. I'm like, fuck it. I just went for it. So I just bought pre-cut boards and found these cool screws, with the pre-drill.
Yep.
So I'm edge screwing everything, which is like woodworking 101. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, no pre-drilled holes.
No, I just send it, and it worked. It just totally worked out.
Hey, good.
Slid it in there, put the reflective in, slid the mattress in. It was nice and snug. I'm like, yeah, something had to be off in the cut. I didn't even measure the plywood that Lowe's cut for me. I just hope he cut it right, and just threw it all together. And I'm like, I bought too many boards. Because I bought the wrong ones and went back and bought 2 more. It's a screw. I already had them cut this board, so I'm not just gonna take it home and find another use for it down the road. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm going, I could build shelves. I could have cubbies down below that, because I got the wheel well there, so I have some storage there. I can just throw stuff I don't need to reach all the time.
Yeah.
So that's where the shelves came from. And then I had this little 1 foot section left over, right? And I'm looking at it, and I got to do a video on this for the channel soon. So. And literally just this little piece of wood tucks into this track system that I have. Like the Nissans all have this track system.
Okay.
And it sits, as long as I have the cleats there, it sits there like it's perfectly flat. Little shelf that in and out, no fixtures, no nothing.
Really?
I was like, perfect. That's where my cell phone gets to go.
There you go.
So it's not down in the bed getting lost. And
that's like I said, watching that play out, like the different configurations that you posted on Instagram and stuff, like seeing like this one, that one, and this is what I ended up with, and here's the final one. Here's me chilling out.
I really wish I would have filmed all that, but I was such work mode. I was mad at YouTube that month. Just like, I wasn't mad at it. It's just like, I'm mad that I couldn't do it, because I know if I start making a video, I want to put my full attention to it.
Right.
And if I can't, because work's in a way, or my mind was like, I need to go see all these customers. I need to go see, 1,000 miles a week driving around like that. And then I had to prep myself on top of doing all this stuff to go hit the road again.
Right. How did, were you able to find like in between stops downtime to do anything to fish? Or I mean, you took some cool photos, but like, did you do much of like, let me go check out this area since I'm in the area? Or
that's just now starting.
Yeah,
that's just now starting for me, because the sales rep that I am taking over for, he was an older gentleman, just made a mess, and I've had to clean up a mess, and the customer base was a lot smaller than it should be. So I've been doing a ton of just reaching out to new stores, trying to build up that. I pretty much doubled his territory in the 4 months, but also made it harder for myself at the same time. Right. So when you have 54 customers scattered across the state, the drive time's the drive time.
Yeah.
But now I threw in another
a buffer.
30, 40 people in between all those drive times. Right. Oh, yeah. It's amazing, like, when you look at where bait shops are in the state, it's kind of comical.
Look, I'm going to give you the funniest one right now to me, okay? Orvis. Not really a bait shop, but it's a fly shop.
Yeah, overpriced.
It's on Woodward.
Yeah,
it's on
Orvis.
Woodward.
And then there's another...
At like 14 Mile in Woodward, there's not a body of water around there. Like,
yeah, there's some...
Well, if you go north, but
it's their clientele, though.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an Orvis store in Baldwin. Okay. That makes perfect sense, especially up there because you're in national forest, lots of trout water up there, lots of steel, lots of salmon fishing. Makes sense. But they're not the best store in the area, believe it or not.
Which is crazy too. Like
Baldwin Big Tackle's awesome up there.
What's up with Rochester?
Rochester can't survive fishing store can't survive in Rochester. There's not enough. There's too many Democrats in Rochester.
Well, because I mean, like if you think about like I mean, even like Shelby Township, like over there, like Yates can be a freaking madhouse of people just fishing. Like you figure if you just stuck a bait shop somewhere right around there, it'd be fine.
There was when I lived in Rochester, there was a shop in Rochester. It was trying to be this pretentious fly only type of shop. Failed. There was one or two up in Lake Orion. They've all failed. And I think part of that is that none of that's a destination. It's I live here, I'm gonna go fish Paint Creek, kind of thing. People people do travel to go fish there, but it's because I don't have 4 hours to go up north. I'm gonna go trout fishing.
Right. This is the close. Like, this is the Blue Ribbon Trout Stream that's right down.
Blue Ribbon. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's far from a Blue Ribbon Trout Stream. Sorry, much as Trout Unlimited wants to make it into one, it just can't be. It's a freaking creek in the middle of a city.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's got good fishing. I mean, I've seen some great brown trout come out of it.
Some huge ones.
Yeah, but that's a freaking 10-foot wide creek.
And it's tough to fish.
It is. It's very, very technical. It's not. The funny part
unless you go to the park. If you hit the parks in Rochester, then
if you're the first one through, you're good.
Because it's open, it's a lot more opened up there. But if you go north of the park, I mean, it's overgrown.
But it's a very technical fly fishing style of fishing. It's very check nymphs and just really small stuff. It's not. It's not your weekend fly fisherman kind of waters.
I talked to the guy that wrote the book on it.
Oh, yeah.
Before. I met him one time. I was like, so what's the key? I don't got time to read your whole book. And he was like, streamers. If you want a big one, streamers.
Yeah, if you want big fish, streamers. They're going to chase what few minnows are in there. But if you want numbers, those little tiny nymphs and dry flies don't really work all that great. Dry
flies are fun, though.
It's like fishing topwater and regular fishing. It's a blast.
I just bought a topwater lure.
What'd you get?
Got a Sexy Dog. I think it's called. It's a Strike King.
See, now fishing lures have some of the most perverted names, names out there.
But because what's the technique? Walking the dog. Like I've never even tried fishing that style
Zoom
at all.
horny toad.
Really?
Get that.
Okay.
You rig it on an EWG hook, just cast and retrieve.
Really?
Stupid proof.
Okay.
Catches a
I'm gonna have to take some notes.
Take a look on my channel. There's a video from Kent Lake.
All right. I have a popper,
That was actually right after I got the boats. That's actually 2 years ago now. So right after I got my boat, I would come out to Kent Lake by myself, scratch the hell out of my boat because Metro Parks have shitty docks. Yes, I'm throwing them on the bus. I don't care. Yeah. I pay their fees, and they still can't give me docks without bolts sticking out of them. So, really? You don't even put any effort into these docks, and you have how many tournaments come out of here.
Yeah.
At least treat these guys right.
It was crazy. I know the water was high, but how high the docks were at Metro... Like the last couple of weeks, I know the water was real high. I know you post that video real quick. It's like, look at me, I'm standing on my boat and I'm above the road.
I put that clip in the last video. Just went up my channel too. The dock flipping one. Legit, I was 3 feet above the road right there. And the road dips right there, but still, I'm above the road. Yeah, it was crazy. Even where it was at its normal level. I'm like, this is insane.
Well, it was funny. My buddy called me and he's like,
such a weird feeling fishing above a road like that.
He was like, dude, he's like, I don't know who the hell put these seawalls in. Like, he's like, I've still got like half a foot. My neighbor's yard is underwater.
He's lucky.
Like, what the hell is going on here? And it's funny because like
somebody from the 80s that got swamped really good went way above it.
When I was pulling out of a Metro last weekend, like you see those houses. Some of them they got a good couple inches still left, and some others they're right there. Some others got sandbags. Like it's crazy. Like that's my one fear of living on the water.
Yeah, living on a Great Lake, that's an issue because the water fluctuates. Like there's a 30 or 50 year cycle. Depending who you talk to. So I think St. Clair's got a 30-year cycle. The Great Lakes, the whole of a 50-year cycle, give or take. And we're in that. We're at the top of the curve right now.
It's just crazy.
What was it, like 5 years ago? We're at the bottom of the curve.
Yeah, it was really
we
low.
Need to dredge
People
everything.
are complaining. Yeah,
you couldn't go fish the flats without running the ground everywhere. Yeah. You had to be really careful getting around. Now I can fly through every reed bed, not anything twice.
Yeah, like I've been lucky right now. I'm like, I don't have to worry about like the really low, shallow areas.
You just got to make sure you don't make the wrong turn and go where it normally is dry. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all you got to worry about.
And I'm new to navigating Lake St. Clair on my own, so
not an old hat at it either. I've only been up here,
Well, like the
6
flats,
years.
like it was funny. I was like, okay, where the fuck are the dumping grounds? Like now I know where they're at because I like research and try to find people talking about them and then find them on some maps and stuff. But like people would talk about the dumping ground, or like I still don't know what the fuck the wall is.
The wall?
Yeah, is that like Huron somewhere or
It depends on
St.
the
Clair
context.
River?
Well, if you're talking like fishing from the wall, that's the wall up in Port Huron. So the boardwalk that goes along, that's they just call it the wall.
Gotcha. Okay.
See, every time you hear a name for something, you got to get the context of
what
where is it supposed to be at.
Yeah.
Then you kind of can put 2 and 2 together. Because Marysville has a wall
too.
Yeah, but it's not as well known as the Port Huron wall.
Like you'll see the thread, fishing the wall, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're talking about Port Huron up there, yeah. That's got so much good opportunity for shore fishing. It's ridiculous up there. I mean, they're catching silverfish still up there from shore.
Well, I know Lexington sometimes they're catching all kinds of stuff off the Lexington
the
like the boat
Atlantics
launcher
in the
there.
fall
Yeah.
are stupid.
My dad
good
wants
up
to
there.
do that so much, and
Yeah.
that was kind of like one of the cool things with getting this boat, having the downriggers and everything. I could get deep if I really wanted to try to.
Well, the funny part
some of
is
those
that
things.
if you only do like salmon in it occasionally, you go spring, you go fall, you don't need downriggers.
Right.
You don't need any of that stuff. Until you're in midsummer, you don't need any of that.
That's
Go
what he
after
wants to
them.
hit one of the runs.
Yeah, you need to go over to West Side right now. I got a customer in South Haven, Hood Outdoors. He's like, dude, you need to come over. I'm like, I can't just come over unless I'm working, dude.
yeah.
It's expensive. Yeah. And he's just pounding kings right now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
God, that'd be awesome to
hammering 'em.
just.
And that bite literally goes up the coast. So probably by the time I hit the road, Ludington should be on fire. So I'm like, who do I know in Ludington? Well, the Rapala rep lives in Ludington, and his dad runs a charter boat. Maybe I'll stay an extra day at Ludington State Park, and we'll go fish.
You ever do any like offshore on the ocean or anything?
Yeah, I've been North Carolina. Is mainly the area I've done the most saltwater fishing in. I got my buddy, my best man from a wedding, lives down there in the Wilmington area.
What's the biggest ocean fish you ever caught?
It was a king.
The king?
King mackerel, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How big do those get?
Big.
I
think that one was like 60 or 80 pounds.
Wow. Shit.
So my freshwater big fish, my saltwater big fish are basically the same. We've had tarpon hooked up.
Really?
Middle of the ocean.
Those get big
Well,
too.
we're talking the middle of the ocean.
Right.
Like weird just place to see tarpon rolling the surface. We ran into some and never landed any, but they were giants.
My first
you don't really
time-
land a 100-pound fish. You just kind of hang at boat's head for a second.
Right. My first and only time fishing the ocean was not last year. I think it was the year before. We went to Disney, and my aunt.
Did you fish the ponds at Disney and get yelled at?
No.
Oh, you so should have.
The one that just moved up here, she has a house down in Florida, down in God, I can't remember where it's at right now, like Jupiter Beach, somewhere over there. But she, her house is like 2 houses from like the inland ocean area, and her neighbor is a charter fisherman. That's what he does for a living. He said like since he's 13, that's what he's been doing. So when we went down there, we went a day early from our reservations at Disney, so we went down by her place. So it was like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to go stay by her. We got a hotel and everything because her neighbor was going to take us out on the boat to go fishing. So it was cool. Like this, free of charge, not paying the charter fees or anything, just because this is what he does every day anyway. I was like, so what do you do if you got no customers for the day? He's like, you're looking at it. I was like, what else do you do? He's like, this is what I do. Like, this is my office. This is what I do every day. And it was cool. And it was really weird to see. So like, he wasn't able to get bait fish from the local place or whatever, so we had to go catch bait fish.
You could spend half a day looking for your bait fish.
But what was funny is like you see these groups of boats and they're all throwing like these multi-hook rigs down that's supposed
rigs.
to look like shrimp.
Yep, sabiki rigs.
And he's throwing these things down and he's like, just watch everybody else. If you see someone catch fish, don't say nothing. Just let me know. Don't yell it out. Don't nothing. If we get anything, don't act any differently because they will be on. And it was crazy to see the fucking shuffling of boats because it was so many boats. Yeah, it was so many of them in this one little area, and they're all trying to get some. So then we got a couple, and he was like, "Well, cool, let's go, take off." Right?
Got enough for the day.
We had a God, what do you call it? Sailfish or whatever. Hit one of them when we were trolling. And we trolled for a long time, and then finally caught a bonita, and I reeled that one in, which that was a tough fight. That was
That's
crazy.
a hard little fish, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 25 pounds, something like that. But I mean, that was a fucking
in the ocean.
It felt
That's
like
a little fish.
Yeah, it felt like a workout. So we caught 2 of those. Then we went to an area where he's like red snapper hanging around this drop off.
Ooh, good eating right
So
there.
we went there. One of the other neighbor guys, he caught a red snapper, and then we were heading to go use the bonita to try to catch a shark.
And bonita tastes good, and you're going to use it for bait. That's the funniest
Well,
part.
no, it's funny. Like they call it trash tuna. Like
you go and buy it in the store for a reason. It's very plentiful and grows fast.
He was like, yeah, we just use it for bait down here.
Yeah.
So he was cut it up, and then we were going to go fish for shark, and then the storm started rolling in. He was like, yep, we're going to leave. We gave the bonita to another fisherman he knew that was already out there with a group, and we hauled ass. And by the time we got to the boat, to the trailer, like just started pouring rain. It was this big storm rolled in. But it was an awesome experience to be out there. But man, dude, the waves we were hitting, holy fuck. And my son sat up front, and he was like, I was getting airborne, Dad. Oh my God, my ass hurt from bouncing it around on that boat.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And he'd gun it up him, and then boom, you could hear him slowing it down, and we'd go down the other side. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah,
the skill of riding the waves, it was nuts.
Yeah. Well, the first time I went down North Carolina with my buddy to go see his dad, we're down at Cape Fear, like where it empties out into the ocean. And his dad's like, I'm going to get you seasick, son. I'm like, the red nut, the regnet neck, North Carolina, you Yankee this. And I'm like, I'm not a Yankee. I'm from Michigan. I'm Midwestern. Trying to explain that to him. I'm not a Yankee. That's the Northeast. And he's like, you're above the Mason-Dixon line. You're still a Yankee. I'm like, whatever. It's like, you're not going to talk any sense into him, vice versa. So he's like, I'm going to get you seasick. And my buddy's like, I don't know if you're going to, Dad. Oh, just Great Lakes are not that big. I'm like, okay, whatever. Grew up on here. I don't get seasick. Yeah. I didn't get seasick till the first time I started drinking.
I think I took something. I think I took Dramamine or whatever just in case, because he was like, you should probably take something if you've never been on the ocean. Yeah,
he was like, you're going to get seasick. So we went through this place called Snow's Cut. Okay, the military boats that go through here sometimes go down. Like the Marine Zodiac, right. Patrol boats, because down there you got a Marine base not too far away. So it's nothing to see a military Zodiac rigid hull boat come zooming through the cut at full speed, breaking every no-wake claw there is because they're allowed to. They're doing an exercise.
Right.
But, so we're going through this place, and we got tide ripping out, wind blowing in, like just huge. Man, it's either go through this or drive 10 miles to go through where it opens up. And it's still going to be rough. So we went to the cut. He's like, I'm going to get you seasick. I'm like, no, you're not. We get out there, and it's like rolling like 10-footers. 10-foot rollers is nothing on the ocean as long as it's not breaking. It's really not a big deal.
No idea.
No, it's not scary at all. As long as they're rolling, none of them are scary. It's when they start to break, that's when it gets scary. And so we're out there to calm down. It became glass. So the Atlantic Ocean just went smooth. So we're cruising everywhere, and we're out there fishing down by this little reef that's near one of the swimming beaches. Just the day before, we were down there spearfishing. And we're sitting there, and we're setting up. We're just kind of drifting, getting the king rigs all ready to go, start trolling. And this bull shark, like probably 10 foot, just swims right underneath the boat.
That's awesome.
I'm like sitting there going, we were just spearing 100 yards that way, and that thing just, we're doing like one bite and gone kind of shark. And and then the very next year, all these bull shark attacks all up and down the East Coast. And I'm sitting there going, that shark would have been insane.
I was just reading about in Hawaii, some guy had...
Was it a mako or a tiger?
No, they think it was a tiger.
Tiger?
Yeah. Guy's leg was gone, and part of his skin was peeled off his arm, and and he ended up dying. They said it's like the...
Was he in shallow water then if it was a tiger?
He was like, it was like 20-foot deep water, I think.
Okay, well, it's shallow. Yeah, makos stay out a little bit deeper, but sometimes, especially in Hawaii, they get a little closer from what I understand.
It's in an area that they've had tiger shark reportings or sightings, and then I think they said this is the fifth attack in the year so far.
Yeah, bull sharks are number one.
And bulls are the ones that can transition to freshwater, right?
Yeah.
They go up the Mississippi and stuff.
Supposedly, yeah. But Australia's got them way up in estuaries and rivers, I mean, it's funny, like you see huge crocodiles and bull sharks literally like
Yeah.
It's like two apex predators
Fighting each other?
Yeah, oh yeah. They go at each other. It's hilarious.
It's this crazy stuff.
Epic, like crikey, Steve Irwin kind of thing going on. It's awesome.
Crikey. What's the biggest fish you caught out of St. Clair?
Out of the lake or the river?
Out of the lake.
Out of the lake, it would be a musky or northern pike. Yeah, I'm not sure on weights.
Northern pike get just as big? Because I've seen some mounted ones that were pretty freaking big.
They have the potential to. Generally, northern pike will not outgrow a musky where they are both in the same body area of water. The North American strain, it usually tops out, honestly, at 52. Like, that's their top. Musky can get up to 60-inch, supposedly. I mean, we'll see if that ever happens again.
They're huge, man.
Yeah.
Some of those fish are giant.
Muskie just get thicker in the shoulders, where pike tend to be a little bit narrower. But you go up to lake like Williston Lake up in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Those things are the size of muskie. They're massive.
Really?
But we're talking Canadian waters where these fish are probably 25, 40 years old.
Right. There's not a lot of pressure and all that.
Yeah, and you got massive lake trout. And you got grayling, you got walleye, and you got pike. That's literally it. There's nothing else but bait fish in that body of water. Down here, there's so many things that are in the water species-wise. They just don't have the potential to get there. And northern pike need cold water as they get bigger. Like, as soon as they hit like 24 inches, their whole
And St. Clair warms up pretty good because it's so shallow, right?
Yeah, you get like 70-degree water. So you're going to see those big northerns go up in the rivers. Well, we also got a lot of muskie. And I think those bigger ESOC species, they tend to, once they get to a certain size, they want to get in that cooler water. So they go up in the rivers, they disappear. Where a muskie tends to, that tolerance level is a little different compared to the pike. The pike disappear when they get that big, and they may never come back.
That's like my son's life goal right now, is to catch a muskie. He's actually mad at me because I got a couple lures now.
You know what's funny? We had the VHS die off, but then we get high water. I was listening to a couple of guys on Facebook like, when we have high water, the muskie fishing's worse. I'm like, how? There's more food. That's probably why. Because there's more food for them. So probably not going to be a good year for muskie this year.
Great.
Yeah. But the pike fishing's been tremendous.
Well,
numbers-wise.
We caught that one pike off by the mile roads, and then last year we caught the pike up by Selfridge, the one trolling. That one, now looking back on it, probably should have just kept that one and killed it, because it had like if I show you the pictures, it had like sores all down the side and stuff.
That was probably from spawning. It just damaged from spawning.
Really?
Yeah. So
this would have been around like September, October when we caught it.
It might have still been, just it never healed. Pike, when they're spawning, they're wrapping around each other and getting they're so stressed out the time of year just because of the time of the year. Then you throw spawning into it, any little damage to their body gets infected and causes sores and abscesses and stuff. And sometimes they just don't fully recover.
Because I was reading about some kind of like infection they can get, or bacteria or something.
Yeah.
Here.
That looks like a musky bite. It looks like damage from being bit.
Really? Yeah. It was. He was.
Yeah, that was probably about 24-incher, give or take.
Yeah, I think so.
That's musky food for a 40-inch class fish out there.
Yeah, he was probably about 27.
Yeah, that kind of looked like two different strikes from a muskie. Like it hit it and then let it go and then hit it again, kind of thing.
Damn, maybe he was biting it when I had him on the hook. Shit.
Maybe. You never know. I don't know how many smallmouth I've had come up and just get hammered by a muskie, especially in the summertime. I get a kick out of like the muskie guys out there, like, oh, they only eat suckers and carp.
Right.
But why are they constantly attacking smallmouth outside?
Eat everything.
Yeah, if it fits, it ships, man.
Right.
These are predators. They have their preferred things that are easier to swallow, but they're also not going to pass up a free meal.
My daughter on Lake Orion, she caught. What was it?
They had tiger muskie at one time in Lake Orion.
Really?
Yeah, tiger muskies are infertile, so they can't.
She caught something. I don't know what kind of fish it was. I wasn't there. This is a story that was relayed to me. My son could tell you about it. She caught something, and then a bigger something just destroyed it, and then almost like her uncle had to run over and grab the rod because it was like gonna pull her in.
I mean, it was probably a catfish or something to hit something.
And then he
pike.
It was I was gonna say probably a pike, because catfish. How often do catfish eat other fish?
Often.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure. It always seems like a bottom feeder
sort
of thing.
That's the stigma they have. But channel cats will chase down stuff like flatheads will be the main prime one. They'll go after other bait fish and bigger fish. Like, we would go down to, like, the Maumee River growing up, because I lived in Monroe and worked at Dundee, at the Cabela's there. We would go down the Maumee River and fish 12-inch suckers for flatheads, 30-pound flatheads. And that's a little bait when you're thinking
That's
about
what he wants.
fish.
He's like, I want to catch a catfish now too, Dad. I was like, you're not catching
Go down to the spillway. They're in right now.
Are they?
Yeah, they're in.
Yeah.
Just go down with some shrimp, go to the grocery store, pick up some shrimp.
Really?
And some night
Just,
crawlers.
And just what? Just drift them?
Just cast out,
Yeah,
let
just
sit in the
cast.
bottom.
Just let them
Don't
sit in the
overthink
bottom?
it.
Really?
Yeah.
Put them on like a jig or something just so they sit there?
Put on
or?
a perch rig.
Really?
Yeah, lay it on the bottom. Or
Good,
just like
good
egg
fight,
sinker.
huh?
Oh, yeah.
So what was the...
Catfish are fun.
What was the biggest fish you caught in the river, in the St. Clair River?
Sturgeon. Hands
Yeah.
down. And I actually was targeting
How
that.
big was it?
It was 60...
Those things are fucking monsters.
We don't know the weight. We had to estimate the weight. It was 60-some inches. But it was not your average 60-incher. It was as big around as I am.
Jeez.
Like, just freaking fat.
Just a big fish.
Big. And it was a...
Isn't that crazy? Like, you'll see
It would
them
have been
like...
in September, because that's a funny story, too, how that fish actually happened. I did a youth duck hunt I was guiding for that morning. So I was up at 2 a.m., picked the kid up and his dad up at the hotel, went out duck hunting.
Where'd you go, to Harson's?
No, this is down in Monroe County, so I was down at Point Mouillet.
Okay.
Took him out, got his limit, had a little luncheon thing with the whole group. It's Gibraltar Duck Hunter Association. They do an organized youth hunt where adults actually take out kids.
Right.
And a lot of times it's like mothers that are getting their kids out and the dad's not around, or the dad passed away and he wants to hunt like dad did or grandpa does, and she knows nothing, but she tags along. And
right.
We take them out in the marsh, walk them around the mud. It's hilarious. And they're like, yeah, nothing to do with it.
Duck hunting's fun. I had a lot of fun.
Duck hunting is amazing, and I don't give a crap about shooting anything anymore when I go. It's awesome watching that marsh wake up. I mean, that is incredible when you see a couple thousand birds just start coming
See,
out.
I've never seen a couple thousand.
Yeah.
We went to Harson's, and I've seen...
It depends where you're sitting
There were
up.
spurts getting by, but it was crazy. Like, you can scan the sky, and there's nothing anywhere, and then all of a sudden, they just go flying by.
Watching the marsh wake up on a beautiful morning, probably not the best hunting weather, but best sightseeing weather you're going to get. It's just amazing. Then hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's like, okay, just another day. But that first hour is just... That's magic, man. It really is. But so we were doing the hunt, and then there was a sturgeon outing that the Lake St. Clair Erie Corridor group that they do. It was like the first one they did, and I was blogging at the time. I wasn't even working at the store yet, and Jenny Olson from Michigan Outdoors was going to be there. I was one of the media.
Okay.
I was like, awesome, I get to media for the first time. All right, awesome.
Did you get a pass?
No. But yeah, so I'm tagging along with Jenny and a couple of the president and the vice president shooting that, and I'm taking pictures and writing up my blog, and Jenny's doing her thing for the show. Well, Jenny's on one boat, I'm on the other boat. Jenny's boat hooks up, and they're almost instantly spooled by this fish. We already pulled anchor because our boat.
And for people that don't know, spooled being like the spool ran out.
Yeah, it was down to this backing. Yeah, so he's like, oh crap, just get over. So we were already pulled anchor because we were going to move her because his boat was being really active. So because we're all anchored, you can just come up in that heavy current and just get next and jump boats and put her on the boat so she can get footage for the show. Because we had a couple little ones and a bunch of catfish, not what the show was going to be about. So we were trying to move her. Well, as we were going to move her, he hooks up with this fish. He just says, take the rod and go. Well, I'm up because I haven't had a fish yet. So I'm fighting this fish now, and Jenny's filming me fighting this fish. It was on their show.
Okay.
There's a picture on my Facebook and that of me holding this fish with her there, and it was a 45-minute fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, we started above the Harson's Island ferry and ended up... Is it above? Yeah. I think it's above the Harson's Island ferry, and we ended up in the middle channel, and then our channel goes this way. So we literally split, and we were trying to navigate. He went up onto the shoal on the front of Russell's Island, and we're in this big, huge 30-foot boat, and this is lower water times too. So it's Sketch City.
Oh,
and this fish is here, and then
scary.
it goes around the buoy. So we had to navigate through the rocks around the buoy, like the big, huge nav buoy. and I still landed this fish. And I'm sitting there in the drag. You're hearing that line ping.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, don't lose. I'm like, I've saltwater fished. I got this. I know how far I can. I asked what he had. He had 30-pound power. I'm like, I got this. I know what I can do with this line, as long as it was new.
Right, yeah.
And it looked
Not
new.
some of those old. Yeah.
It looked new. We're okay. So I'm pushing this thing hard to get him off the bottom. Finally get him off the bottom. Then it was game over, basically. So we bring him in the boat just because we're trying to get a picture. And I am exhausted. I've been up since
45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been on top of what you were doing all day.
I've been up since 2 a.m. trudging around a marsh, very little food. Just, I'm exhausted at this point. Like, I'm running on fumes. And I get done with this fight, I'm like, I'm done after this. I'm just going to curl up and go to bed. I'm so tired. It was like midnight, 1 o'clock or something like that when this finally hooked up. And we get him in the boat, and I literally can't even hold on. I'm so tired, I can't hold on to this fish. And you can feel...
And they're big.
The
muscle?
Yeah, just the muscle. Like, you can tell when he's about to kick, and you're like, oh, crap. And you tense up, and he goes even harder.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and my arm legit could barely get around the belly of this fish. And it's 60 inches, so it's about as big as this table, and it's about...
This is a banquet table.
Like so about 2/3 of the width of it.
Wow.
That's how wide this fish was. And that just barely got underneath it. And I'm sitting there trying to manhandle a fish that could kick my ass.
That'd be kind of cool. One day, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to be targeting sturgeon anytime soon.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not a hard thing to do. You just got to be able to anchor. I've been meaning to go do that in the bass boat. And that it'd be easier to land a fish from the bass boat because I'm lower to the water.
Right.
The problem is my boat's not really designed to be anchored.
Gotcha.
So me and the wife, when we went up to the UP last fall, and that heavy current, it was some pretty sketchy anchor jobs. Yeah, and I can't use the cleat. I'm going to have to use the bow eye underneath, and that... It's a little hard to reach in that boat because it's designed to go on the trailer, so it's a little further down. I can get to it, but it's...
Jeez.
It's a little low, so we're gonna play around with that in the daylight one night, or daytime, and we're going to go do that.
Jeez.
It's been on the bucket list to go out and do it by myself. I usually go with guys that do sturgeon fishing on a regular basis. There's a Captain Anthony up there. He had a young lady from Canada come over last year and caught a 70-something incher. Just a beast of a fish. And she's little tiny, like 10, 12-year-old girl, like talking tiny.
Right.
And she freaking owned that fish.
Really?
It was incredible. Like her dad does TV work, obviously, because you watch the videos. The production value is through the roof. I'm like sitting there going, yeah, this is definitely a dad that does this for a living that decided his daughter wants to do a YouTube channel.
Wow. That's crazy.
Kind of thing. But she's pretty cool. She signed up with Shimano over there, I think, now too. Yeah. She's got a bright future. I just hope she doesn't get burnt out because it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
When you're pursuing a passion that you could burn yourself out on your passion pretty quick, which is always a struggle to try to balance.
It is.
The part of your passion, why you're
doing it, and then like the work that goes into it behind the scenes.
You can ruin a passion by working at it too much, and I'm at that point now where I'm trying to balance that. The bad part is the more popular you get, the more kind of pressure you have on you to keep producing. Yeah. So I know coming in June, it's going to be a rough month for me. So I'm going to have to do some more scheduling of like one day to go fish and hope it goes right.
And hope it goes, yeah. Tell me about it.
That's like brutal when you, I mean, this is tough enough because people's schedules got to work out, right? But when you're on the road working and you want to go shoot something, the fish have got to be biting because no one's going to watch you cast and not catch anything. So...
Right.
Just be honest with you. They're there for one thing and one thing only, and that's you to catch fish. It's just like people watching NASCAR. They're there for one thing, the crashes. So it's kind of the same thing. So, but it's kind of hard to make it work when you're going to buy water you've never seen before, and you got to catch a fish. Yeah. And you don't have a boat.
Because you don't know the underwater, like where all the good spots are, any of that stuff.
You mean you're going in 100% blind, like you're just on a whim. I'm going to pull over the side of the road and try casting here. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, I wish you luck on those adventures. We're actually coming up on 2 hours.
That's it?
Yeah. Wow. It's pretty fast already, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of time, a lot of good stories. I appreciate having you on. Again, JC Dropshot, Justin Clark. Go ahead. What's your Instagram? Do you got all that stuff again? Just to plug it.
Yeah. Facebook. You can search my name or JC Dropshot will come up. Instagram JC Dropshot will come up. Twitter, it is JC Dropshot. I don't post on Twitter. I use some app that sends my Instagram, YouTube post over. And,
Instagram connects with Facebook pretty well.
It does, because they own each other.
Yeah,
Facebook owns Instagram. But there's a app service that you can link all this stuff, and this happens and that happens, and makes life a lot simpler for us that are trying to have a day job and create. So
awesome. Well, I appreciate you again coming on. Great job on the videos. Keep it up. I wish you the best, especially as you travel around Michigan. I look forward to all your new posts. I appreciate, again, coming on the show and sharing your stories and stuff, and hopefully have you on again. Definitely love to check in to see once your master plan that you have, your bigger vision, if that starts coming to fruition.
See if we get there. As long as I'm kind of like going towards it, I'm okay if I never get there. It's just when I stop pursuing it, it's going to bug me.
Yeah.
So, as long as I'm pursuing it, I don't care.
I think you got it. You've been sticking with it this long.
Yeah.
You got a good personality for it and all that stuff. Like,
thank you.
Do a good job. It's awesome. That's another. We'll have to have another episode because I didn't even ask you like what it's like carrying something by yourself. I always have guests. Like, that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other topic. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But again, thanks guys for tuning in to the Get Up Show. Remember to follow us on Facebook at the Get Up Show Podcast. You can always check us out at www.thegetupshow.com. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube. What else? Spotify. We're everywhere. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for listening to The Get Up. Make sure to check out thegetupshow.com for more information on this episode's guests. While you're there, check out other episodes, leave a comment, or if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, shoot an email to contact@thegetupshow.com. Don't forget to follow, like, and share on Facebook at The Get Up Show Podcast. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at The Get Up Show, and subscribe to The Get Up YouTube channel. The Get Up is available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts.